Welcome back to another video. As you can see, we are still in Le Mans Ultimate. It's the 18th of October and the Le Mans Ultimate honeymoon period is in full swing. We're back in the GTEs, this time at Circuit of the Americas, and as you can see from this intro, we spent much of our time going backwards. And going backwards has been a theme off the track as well, as I've gone back and forth trying to tweak and make amendments to my graphics settings in a vain attempt to get that perfect blend of quality and performance. And when it comes to that performance, the issue that I've been trying to overcome, and I'm not alone, is stuttering.
Did I stutter?
That's right. No matter where you look, whether it's a subreddit for Le Mans Ultimate, whether it's the Le Mans Ultimate website's forum, whether it's the community section on Steam, everybody has the same question on their lips. How do we resolve stuttering? At first I thought it was a performance issue for me, my system, my graphics settings, how I have the super sampling set on my BigScreen Beyond in the Steam VR settings, whether or not it was the graphics settings I had set in the NVIDIA control panel, whether it was something to do with my display drivers from NVIDIA, whether it was something to do with, it's just a litany, the whole panacea of things that if you're into PC gaming, you have to troubleshoot whenever there is some technical issue. And it is very likely that there is some contributing factor in whether it's the graphic settings I've got in Le Mans Ultimate, or perhaps there's an issue with the memory on my PC, or perhaps my antivirus, maybe that's interfering, or it's perhaps something to do with the fact that I need to update my BIOS. Who knows what it could be? There may well just be something that I need to figure out that my system is doing that is contributing to this stuttering. That said, it is clearly evident that the game itself has an issue with stuttering. No one thing is a resolution for every single gamer, whether it's a potential VRAM memory leakage issue, which makes no sense to me. I'm not technical enough to understand that. However, that was one of the topics in threads over the past few months, or whether it's something that the hotfix patch introduced or resolved and then reintroduced, or it's something to do with having an AMD graphics card and having some sort of conflict there, which I think was in the same conversation as the VRAM issue. It's just par for the course of this game is in early access. It wasn't finished and it wasn't polished when it was released, and Studio 397 are having to work through it to give us the game that we all want to love. And whilst I initially thought that it perhaps was something that was isolated to us VR racers and the update that came on the 24th of September, having a look through again, whether it's the subreddits, whether it's the forum, whether it's the community section on Steam, it's not a VR issue in isolation. You see flat screen users having the same issue, but again, it's not every user. Some people have buttery smooth performance. Some people are using open composite and that is giving them some headroom, and so they're not seeing issues. Like myself, some people have tried the usual troubleshooting tricks of trying to cap frames, turning off vertical sync, reducing the level of detail in the in-game graphics settings, reducing the number of cars on track. All of the things that we have got used to try and reduce the load on the game. And again, there is no silver bullet that is solving the stuttering for every single user universally. It's highly likely that we will be beholden to Studio 397 and some optimization or development over the course of the next few weeks, hopefully not the next few months, to finally resolve us of this stuttering issue. And if it wasn't just the stuttering issue, I'm also contending with the fact that for me, whilst driving along in Le Mans Ultimate, it's a very bumpy ride. Now, whether that's the track surface and the in-game image shaking like some induced head shake, or it's perhaps the road surface and the force feedback coming through the wheel jolting my arms, which means that I'm jolting my head a little bit. That is again inducing some head shake. Or it's the fact that the BigScreen Beyond is such a small and light headset that any movement of my head isn't offset by the weight of the headset and inertia, meaning that again, every twitch and every shake is translated into the video recording, so it looks like a very bumpy ride. I'm not sure if I'm seeing stuttering all the time, or if I'm just seeing jarring like F1 drivers have with their porpoising in 2023 and 2024. So I get a little bit of a placebo effect. I really need your help to let me know. Do you see the stuttering? Is it as bad as I think it is? Or is it just my head shaking around, making it exacerbate this issue of there might be some stuttering? But yes, your head's bouncing around. That is why it looks like such a shaky ride. It's not just the stuttering issue that everyone else is dealing with. And it really could just be me, because I can be watching a video and I can see what appears to be some frame lag, or frame dropping I should say, what appears to be stuttering, and this is whether it's streaming video on YouTube or Netflix or Prime, and I start to wonder, is it my refresh rate of my monitor? Is it my eyesight? Is there something going on between what I'm seeing visually and my brain decoding that image? Is it a placebo? Is it that I'm seeing an issue that doesn't exist? So when you then compound that on top of the head shaking, the bumpy track, and the inherent stuttering that is in Le Mans Ultimate, yeah, let's just say the sooner Studio 397 can remove at least one element of that from the equation for me, the sooner I can stop distracting myself whilst racing, wondering, did that just stutter? But until then, until Studio 397 resolve it for us, I will continue tweaking my settings, testing away, reading through the forums, trying to figure out if either I can resolve the issues for myself or someone else out there who's a lot more technically minded than I am comes up with a suggestion that works for the majority of the community. Until then, please do comment along. Are you experiencing the stutters, or are you one of the few who has a buttery smooth experience? Are you in VR and part of your issue isn't actually the game stuttering, it like me is some of the jolting around of the headset as you're moving around because the track's so bumpy? Or are you wondering what the hell I'm talking about? You don't have this issue at all. But yeah, again, also let me know, compared to some of the other titles, whether it's Assetto Corsa, rFactor 2, iRacing, Assetto Corsa Competizione, or whatever your usual game is, how do you find the track surface in Le Mans Ultimate? Is it bumpier than the others? Or again, am I just imagining it and making a big deal out of it? But anyway, moving on from the stuttering, on the 15th of October, Studio 397 released update number 2, patch number 1, build 160.544.24. And for those of you who hate having to go to Steam and read through the patch notes, here's a quick summary. For code on the AI, they fixed various AI aggression issues, various updates to AI drop-back decision logic. They updated a skating animation that occurred if you had 2 pit boxes ahead that were occupied. They fixed AI approaching pit boxes. They fixed AI drafting behavior. They fixed some situations when AI were too conservative. They improved detection of overtakeable braking zones. There were some small tweaks to AI behavior in safety situations. They fixed formation lap skips causing AI to go off track. And they fixed AI that cancel lift and coast, failing to pit in time and running out of fuel. On track limits, they updated track limits to finalize quicker when you are not at risk of penalization. They updated track limits to log more information with regards to illegal passes, and they fixed speed leaving the track, always affecting end of lap cuts regardless of time loss in non-race sessions. Other updates included a fix that finally resolved the double input issue that we had when in VR. We can now use the MFD and make pit stops. They fixed the crash on Get Tire Inventory bug that Splat reported, thanks Splat. They fixed crash on penalty translation, another bug that was reported by Splat. They fixed crash restarting a race weekend, race after handing over a stint. They fixed sparks that sometimes rendered ahead, way ahead of cars, and they fixed penalty threshold not being reset when skipping formation laps. There have been some fixes to the UI, specifically for co-op, which fixes score updates not being displayed after receiving a handover, a fix for fastest laps showing as not a number, a fix for drive time not showing correctly under your name in the pit menu, prevented the HUD from appearing behind the pit stop screen, a fix for the season banner not being centered correctly, and a fix for updated car images. There has also been a raft of various fixes for content. So for vehicles in general, there's a fix for some trace file errors caused by cars using the wrong default materials, tweaked AI files to reduce chances of AI trying to undertake cars entering the pit lane at Bahrain, Monza, Fuji and Portimao. The Alpine had updates to its rev ranges, flipped traction control readouts on the Alpine HUD, and fixed an LOD issue. The Isotta got a corrected RPM bar. The Ferrari 488 got a corrected incorrect recommended tyre temperatures. The Orica got a corrected incorrect recommended tyre temperatures as well, along with an updated LMP2 livery, and it had fixes to LOD issues as well. And then Circuit of the Americas had updated AI lines to reduce the chance of the first place getting ahead on a rolling start. They updated night lighting colors on the tower, updated AI lines through turn 7 and regenerated grip. They fixed some minor bumps near unused DRS lines on the back straight and reviewed grip levels, increasing them by around 1%. I did try out the PubShare beta to see if that brought any other improvements with it. However, I found that I wasn't able to join any online sessions. So I'm going to have to postpone that when I've got more time and test it over the weekend just to see whether or not the PubShare beta is compatible with VR, whether it's compatible with online. I haven't read into it much, I just saw that it was there. So once I find out, I'll update you, or if you've already tried it out and you already have answers to the above, please do comment. And on that note, thank you to everybody who has commented thus far. All of the likes, shares and subscriptions are deeply appreciated. If you've not done any of the above yet, what are you waiting for? Every like, share and subscription goes to tease out a little bit more support from the YouTube algorithm. But most importantly, every comment you make gives me something to interact with, gives me an idea about what you perhaps might want to see next, what you perhaps might not want me to do next. But whether I agree, disagree, whether you agree or disagree, it gets the conversation going. So most importantly, please do comment below. What do you think about Le Mans Ultimate? What are the things you like? What are the things that have left a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth? What do you think the future of Le Mans Ultimate brings? Again, let me know all of your experiences in VR on Le Mans Ultimate. And if it's not Le Mans Ultimate, if it's Assetto Corsa, if it's iRacing, if it's Assetto Corsa Competizione, if it's R Factor 2, if it's Race Room, or if it's you're waiting for Assetto Corsa Evo, let me know in the comments. The interaction really does make making the videos worthwhile. So on that note, I'm gonna shut up, let you watch the rest of the video. I will see you in the next one.